Hi, I'm DK Will, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
I got a news feed sent me this article here about Iran proposes to link all BRICS payment systems, and it prompted me to want to do another video. And before I do that video, I'm going to, say like and subscribe, and I'm going to ask you to give a little attention to this decent wallet opportunity. Before we get into the video, I'd like to turn your attention to a referral link that you'll find in the description below somewhere, or on the page description on my homepage, where you get a $50 off on the Decent Biometric Wallet. And if you have a whole lot of coins, you might be interested in the package discount for the Decent Biometric Wallet 2-pack, where you save $129 off on the regular price. That's one heck of a deal. I hope you take advantage of it, because it's time to preserve and protect your funds. I hope that you use those links for the Decent Wallet while the major discounts apply, but no matter what, there'll be a discount if you use the links. They'll be somewhere in the description on my homepage, no longer in the banner for YouTube, but they're there. You'll find them. They're labeled. So let's get into it. Like I mentioned, this article prompted me to do another video because it shows how rapidly things are happening, and more importantly, not just how rapidly things are happening, but rapidly things are happening via the BRICS nations and the BRICS alliance. And what I hope to do also is show that this information from Iran, who's like the arch enemy when it comes to Iraq, US on one side, Iran on the other, is linked to the fact that those of us who own foreign currencies like the IQD, the Iraqi Dinar, this is actually good news for us, because the bullying by the United States of the financial monetary system through SWIFT prompted these terrible conditions that we're in financially globally, all over the globe. Everyone's kind of hurting a little bit. And a change is being made. Now, what I want to emphasize too is don't let your mind get sucked up into the narratives about this. And when you come here, DK, we'll talk about it. I try to show you that a non-narrative influenced perspective, as I try to whisper to your paradigm, because number one, I don't watch the news. Number two, I don't watch television. Rarely. Sometimes I go and my wife is watching something, I'll stare at the screen for a few moments. It almost always chases me out. And number three, I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So here we see that Iran proposes to link all BRICS payment systems. Now, I want to make a point. We've seen Iran proposes to link BRICS systems. We've seen in prior videos, Russia comes up with a new system to get around SWIFT. We see all kinds of countries coming up with their systems. And what I want to emphasize here, because my prior video showed the connection, and I don't want to go through the work of showing it again, that when it talks about these payment systems they're linking, these cross-border currency payment systems, they don't own the system. They're tying into the system, kind of like David Schwartz talked about those walled gardens. You know, pressing the button and coming on board. That's what's happening. The system is the XRP on-demand liquidity XRPL system, and it's no different than linking to the internet. So in the sense of when it says these propose a link to link all these systems, they're taking advantage of the technology that's American, and that's why someone like Iran can get away with doing something like this without the United States going over there and starting a fight, because generally that's what they do. People get killed, wars get started, tanks come out. That's just how it is. But they're letting this happen, and why? I'll say it again, because it's all part of the plan. And you can't trade gold leaves for maple leaves. So I'll show how all this ties up, and I'll try to keep this video brief. And I hope you like, and I hope you subscribe. But you see here, it says the spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran has proposed to link the payment systems of all countries of the BRICS bloc. I mean, that's mighty noble of them, but that's happening anyway. It says allowing for seamless settlements between these. I'm sorry, bear with me, that was an accidental click. He stated that the conditions have been created for this to happen. Who you think created those conditions? I hope my prior video showed you, and you can see it's XRP. As payments between these countries are migrating to national currencies. And that's the other clue, because the technology that Ripple has is the technology that can turn any form of value into another form of value, any form of currency into another currency, almost instantaneously in 3 to 5 seconds. Iran states it's time to link BRICS nations' payment system. So they're dropping their walled garden. That's what's happening. They're dropping their walled garden, and they're saying to all the other BRICS nations, drop yours too. It says a tighter integration between the economic systems of the countries of the BRICS blocs is brewing. The Islamic Republic of Iran is seeking the implementation of a system to integrate all existing payment systems of all countries of the BRICS blocs, which includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Now keep in mind, when we talked about the SPFS system of Russia yesterday, we showed that that existing payment system, as noted here, that they all are linking and taking advantage of the technology of Ripple. And Ripple is an open source type of network. You can come in and tie into it, and that's what's happening all over the globe. Moving on, it says, he stressed that the Russian side saw this proposal positively. We just covered the Russian side for doing the same thing, right? So make the connections. They're right there. However, to achieve this goal, significant support and cooperation will have to be established by all BRICS nations. Now, here's how you know how deep this goes. It says, the completion of the integration work between the Russian mirror and the Iranian Shitab systems, which they tied into the on-demand liquidity, I'm sure just as well, involves joint settlements and ATM withdrawals using cards from both countries. Can you see how granular it has become? We're way past cross-border payments with the nations and national international trade levels. We're talking about ATM withdrawals by the individual person. It will be enabled next August in its first phase. This would be the kind of integration Iran seeks for the bloc. Now, this is important because Iran is not alone. Here we see that this article talks about 14 more countries lined up to join BRICS. The BRICS alliance is on the brink of a significant transformation. Following its successful six-nation expansion in the 2023 summit, reports have emerged that 14 additional countries are lining up to join this influential bloc. This surge in interest marks a pivotal moment in global geopolitics, signaling a shift towards new economic alliances and a challenge to the traditional power structures that have dominated the world stage. That's why this is important, folks. We may not pay attention to it, but it's going to have an impact of those who do pay attention to it. Because it's no different than the internet and those who were smart enough to get on board and take advantage of that and probably retire early in life. Now, I'm not trying to say get rich and wealthy, because if that's what you want to do, that's what's going to happen. But I am saying that you can protect assets and you can prepare for a change because you see it coming. Because it's a global shift towards BRICS. Now, keep in mind, in my prior videos, and I say this often because I want you to go watch them. I want you to subscribe. I want you to share. I want you to help me grow and make this become good for me, like I know it's good for you. Okay? Can you do that? Now, moving on. The 14 countries, notice these countries, include Algeria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Honduras, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, the highest currency on the globe. Palestine, Senegal, Thailand, Venezuela, and dong 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 dong. I didn't say ding 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 ding. I said dong 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 dong. Vietnam have applied to join the BRICS blocs. They're not alone. Way back in October of last year, Iraq expressed interest in joining the BRICS bloc. And so can you see what's happening, folks? Notice here, the Iraqi Prime Minister indicated he discussed with Russian President Vladimir Putin several economic issues, including the use of the Iraqi dinar and the Russian ruble in commercial transactions between the two countries. Do you really think that that's going to happen on a sanctioned rate with the U.S. stepping on it? Or do you think that it's going to find its real value in comparison to these other 14 countries, of those 14 countries including Kuwait, which is probably 3 something to the dollar at this point? That's the evolving dynamics of the BRICS nations. So when Iran proposes to do this, it's huge because Iran's new president reaches out to Iraq and Russia to, you see the connections, to build ties with BRICS. And if you've been following the movie of Iraq, you know it's always been the Iranian blocs and sects against the U.S. favored blocs and sects in Iraq, creating turmoil and constant chaos and riots and everything. You notice there's no backlash on this, right? Because it's all part of the plan. I've shown you Russia, I'm showing you Iraq, I'm showing you Iran, I'm showing you 14 other nations, I'm showing you the 11 nations that are already a part of the BRICS. And folks, this is the evolution of a monetary system and the introduction of true sound money, which is what everyone is waiting for. Because Iraq is a rich nation. I don't have it in front of me, but they rank very high in wealth in comparison to Arab countries as well as the globe. There is no real reason for their currency to be so cheap. We know Iran's rial has been suppressed by the United States, and they said we're tired of it too. But the one thing is going to hold true, and it will always hold true, is you cannot trade maple leaves for gold leaves. We know that Brazil has initiated gold-backed money. I've done a video about it. We know that Russia has initiated gold-backed money. We know India was even gold-backed crypto before everyone was moving on. We know that China, of course, has gold-backed money and an undisclosed true amount of gold. And South Africa, a gold-producing nation, is going to gold-backed money. There's no stopping it. It's happening. It says Iran now has deep ties in Iraq. They've always had deep ties in Iraq. Even controls part of Iraq through Iranian-backed militias that operate in Iraq. We know all that. And the militias frequently target Israel and U.S. forces, just like I mentioned. So now, I don't know if this is going to create controversy and hurt me or not. But if they killed Muammar Gaddafi because he was trying to go to gold-backed money and shuck the dollar aside, if they assassinated John F. Kennedy, and that's where all this is really about, you don't assassinate a United States president and not expect some backlash. And even though this backlash might be 50, 60 years old, it's a-coming. It's a-coming. Why aren't they doing something here? Because it's all part of the plan. Because all the nations are going to be linked to the BRICS payment system, and behind that payment system, as I showed you in my past video, just most recent video, is a United States technology. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. And that's all I had to talk about. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.